Hello. Welcome to our chat on The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild. We're really excited to talk about this. I think we've been talking for, I don't know, 6 months to a year or something about like, oh, we need to do a chat about Breath of the Wild because so many of us have played it or are playing it and love it. So yeah, so this one's going to be pre-recorded. We'll be posting it up in May. I don't remember exactly which date. So it's not live, but feel free to comment and we will reply to comments when we can. So yeah, we're gonna start out with kind of just like an opener of what are your stats in the game. So the 3 stats that I want to know is how many hours have you played, how many shrines have you completed, and how many Korok seeds have you found. So we'll start with Kyra on the other end with Bob Ross.
So Bob Ross is here because I am in Montana and recording from my little brother's bedroom, which I'm sure he'll be thrilled about. He doesn't know I'm in here. He's not in Montana, so it's fine. Question. Yeah. Okay. So also because I am in Montana, I don't have my Switch with me and I cannot check my stats.
I forgot about that.
Called on you first.
No, it's fine. We'll just get this one out of the way so everyone knows. I've played a decent amount. I've played enough that I haven't actually beat the game, but I have gotten like into the castle. I've run around the castle a fair amount. So enough things to do that. And I don't do that with like not a lot of hearts because I'm not a good enough gamer to be
You're not a speed runner.
Yeah, no. I am the opposite of a speed runner. I'm a slow walker.
What about you, Kaylin?
So, hour-wise, according to this, I have played for 230 hours or more. That's second only to Animal Crossing on my Switch. So in 230 hours, I got 120 shrines and 180 Korok seeds.
Okay. Do you have multiple people playing on your account, Kaylin?
Not on my account.
That's
so
just you.
each of the kids have like their own accounts and stuff like that. So that's just me wandering around. Also, I have not officially beat the game, so I didn't like beat Ganon, but I just spent a lot of time on side quests and just investigating.
Listen, Zelda's had it under control for 100 years. What's a couple more?
I'm waiting to beat it like the week before the new game comes out. Then it'll be like full circle.
Yeah, be fresh in your mind. And what about you, Des?
Yeah, so I'm gonna be like representing the casual gamers tonight. I was telling everyone else like before we started recording that I feel like I like just hallucinated all the hours of Zelda I played, so I checked my stats and I was like, oh, okay. So I played, I think it was 35 hours.
Okay.
And then I have 16 shrines. I think it was like 4 Korok seeds. And no, I have not beat the game with those stats.
What?
I got to the first like divine beast and got stuck forever because I didn't know how to do a thing. So I stopped playing for a long time. And then I picked it up again.
35 hours is like how many hours it took me to beat Link's Awakening.
Yeah, same.
It's a much shorter
It's a whole game.
Yeah.
Or lots of games.
Yeah. What about you, Megan?
I've played a lot. So I played the game all the way through once on one account that was linked to my Nintendo account. So I have those stats. But then all of my replays and my master mode and everything I did on a different account because I started playing like the first day I could, and I was afraid that it was going to delete my original file. So using the hard numbers from the main account and an estimate based on how many replays I've done, I'm gonna put it at around 350 hours. It's 200 on my main, and I've played it through a couple more times and done like all the DLC and master mode and stuff on the other one as well. And I've gotten all the shrines, and I don't care a ton about the Korok seeds. So I've got like 188 of those.
It's a respectable amount.
Yeah.
Okay, so on my Switch, it says I've played 150 hours. However, I actually played this game on Wii U originally, which I don't have my Wii U anymore, so I can't even look at it. But I played it all the way through, including the DLC, and then I played it all the way through with Master Mode, not with the DLC, because I think that's impossible personally.
I did quit on the
Yeah.
Master Mode DLC
Yeah, it's like,
after
no.
like 3 of the Divine Beasts.
Yeah.
So I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, exactly. So yes, I played the game all the way through twice on the Wii U. So considering I have 150 hours on the Switch, which I haven't even really finished the game, I'm guessing I've played like over 400 hours total. Which is a lot now that I say it. That's a lot of my life I've spent on Breath of the Wild now. But in my Switch playthrough, I've done all the shrines. And I have 281 Korok seeds, which is primarily because I reached a point where like I had finished everything except for defeating Ganon, which I'm actually in the middle of right now. And was like, what else can I do? Guess I'm gonna find all the Korok seeds. And then I got my PlayStation, so I stopped playing this for a while. But yeah, so I finished it a couple times.
Nice.
So I think one of the great things about Breath of the Wild that's like made it so popular is that there's so many different ways you can play it, where previous Zelda games are like very linear, like you go through, you do your main quest, there's gonna be like a few side quests along the way, and that's it. So I'm like really curious what everyone's style of playing is, because I think some people are very focused on just getting through like the main quest, and other people are just like wandering around. Like before we went live, I mentioned that my husband has only completed like 20 shrines, but he's played over 85 hours. I'm like, what have you been doing this whole time?
I would say for me, I'm definitely a cozy gamer. Like I really like exploring and just kind of like taking my time. So I am definitely more focused on like the side quests. And it's not just for Breath of the Wild, it's for really any game that I play. I like looking for like the side quests and seeing what else is out like in the actual land and searching for like cool weapons and stuff like that. So technically I haven't beat the game, but it's just 230 some hours of just wandering around and trying to find some side quests to do. I think I am at a point now though where there's like no side quests left. I think I have 4 from the DLC that I still have to do. But the idea of replaying the game on master mode gives me anxiety so bad, because it's like I want the challenge of like defeating the things and like it being hard. Like I know it took me a couple of tries, each of the divine beasts, but like the idea of master mode is just like impossible to me.
I don't think this is a huge spoiler or anything, but the biggest shock in master mode is that there's a Lionel on the Great Plateau.
Yes.
I was like, oh my god.
Just instantly killed me.
Yeah.
I could never do master mode because regular mode is very challenging for me. I am like Kaylin, like I am a very cozy gamer. All the games I typically play are cozy. So the thing that actually drew me to Breath of the Wild was like the open world. I'd never been like a huge like Zelda fan. Like I'd played some games, but the cooking is actually what sold me. I love making recipes. I love gathering. I'm like a hoarder when I play games. So like I always am like, oh man, what am I gonna drop to get these like, I don't know, like random monster parts that I have a whole stack of already, but I want more of them. So I like to explore and like I like finding new towers, like expanding the map. So I am not concerned at all with the main story.
I think I'm an opposite gamer to Des. I get like a serotonin boost from like completing things and having things checked off. So for me, like it's not even so much main quest, it's like I'm like a completionist. Like I have to do everything. So like I have to get every single side quest, every single shrine. I have to find like everything that I'm supposed to find. But all the like little stuff, like especially once I get a little further in the game and I don't need stuff as much, like I just like walk on by things. It drives my husband crazy when he sees me playing. He's like, there's all these like plants to collect. Why aren't you grabbing them? And I'm like, I don't need them. I'm not going to use them. I got to go and complete this quest.
Yeah. I think I play by my whims. So anytime I start a replay, my top priority is usually get to the towers, get the maps. And I think in my first playthrough, it was kind of just whatever I was in the mood to do. The world was big enough that I could just, oh, I'll go find a tower. Oh, I'll work on some side quests. And then when I get tired of doing side quests, I'll do some main quest. The cooking is pretty great. Another top priority in replays ever since trying to complete all the side quests that first time is weapons hoarding, because there's that quest with the little boy who wants you to show him the weapons. And
That's the one I still have outstanding. That's not DLC.
yeah, because if you defeat the Yiga clan, like you can't get
Yeah.
those weapons anymore, and he wants them.
Yeah, I always like wait too long to start that quest, and I'm like, damn it. And so then I have to like go and find like lower level weapons that I'm not interested in just to complete the
Yeah,
quest.
it's like I don't even know where to find them anymore. Like,
Mhm.
Good.
I
Now that I, since I'm only 35 hours in,
yeah.
got some pro tips.
yeah.
I'm kind of like a middle of the two extremes. Because on the one hand, like I'm a cozy gamer, but on the other hand, I'm also a completionist. So I'm always torn between like, not even so much like I need to finish all the side quests, but I think in my head, I'm playing and I'm like, Zelda has been waiting for 100 years. Got to get to Zelda. But on the other hand, I'm not a good gamer. This is actually the first like this style game I've ever played. Like I've never really played a questy game. I played Animal Crossing before this. I'm really quite like new to video games. So on the other hand though, like, and I don't like getting beat up a bunch. So like for me, I always want to go into like a boss fight over prepared. So I kind of balance like gotta get to Zelda with like, okay, but I gotta get all this stuff so I don't die trying to get to Zelda.
Yeah, this was the first game like this that I played as well. I didn't grow up
Yeah,
with video
same.
games in my house, and so I had played like Mario Kart and Mario Party, Super Smash Brothers. That was like it. So it is really interesting thinking back to when I first started playing it, like I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. And then like now going back to it, now that I like have played like some like serious games, I guess, on like the PlayStation, and I'm like, wow, I'm a lot better at this than I
Yeah.
used to be.
Yeah, I would say I
I-
grew up with video games, but I never considered myself like a gamer per se, just because I guess I do go into it with like that cozy mindset. Like I played like Final Fantasies, like a couple of different Final Fantasies, but this was the first like open world like RPG that I ever played. I think one of my favorite video games was BioShock, but that was still more linear than like completely open world. But this was the first like truly you can literally go anywhere and do anything game that I've really gotten into.
Yeah, I played a lot of like Sega when I was a kid. And you know, like we got a Super Nintendo at a garage sale when it was already a very old console. And so like I played Super Mario on that. And I think the closest to open world I had done prior to Breath of the Wild was Animal Crossing on the GameCube.
So we mentioned cooking and weapon hoarding. I'm curious what
Mhm.
other features people like, the like random side things people love. I love upgrading my clothing at the fairy fountains. It's like
I
little
love and
mini
hate
quests.
that.
Like I have to go find the like ingredients I need for it. Very satisfying. Like,
know,
I
I think-
absolutely don't need to upgrade this stuff, but it's just fun to go find this stuff.
I never like it took me a while to master the cooking because I didn't realize that like if you combine certain things, it completely negated both of them. And like getting like the extra like gold hearts at the end, trying to figure out like those recipes. But I think with the DLC, I was able to get the quirk mask, and since I got that, that's when I started getting serious about like finding the quirks. But I really did like going to Hestu and like upgrading my weapon slots so that I didn't have to, you know, just ditch so many weapons along the way.
This is not for everyone, but in my replays, one of my favorite things to do is just get like one extra heart, maybe one extra stamina wheel chunk, and then just go right into the palace and try to get the the Hylian shield because I love to shield her, and all the other shields break really fast. So yeah, I'm going in there just 10 arrows and a prayer, just trying
Bunch
to
of
beat that
food
skull
cooked.
knock. Yeah, so that I can get the shield.
Something. It's like now that I like have the DLC and everything, one of my first priorities after the Great Plateau is to go find Majora's Mask. Is it Majora's Mask? Yeah, so that the
That is
enemies can't
nice.
detect me. I'm like, I need it. It like changes the game so much.
Or he's harder to find, but the guy who will sell you monster masks.
Tilton.
Mhm.
Yes.
I like the like Dark Link outfit from him because I like to zoom around at night.
I think I
But I
got
don't
the
know why that
Lionel
makes sense.
mask from him.
Mhm.
It works, but it doesn't like work as much as you want it to. I still
Yeah.
die like more times than not.
Yeah, the Lionels are not easily fooled. I would say they're probably like the worst enemy in the whole game. It's Lionels.
hmm
Yeah.
I didn't like the Guardians really got on my nerves at the beginning when like my like strength wasn't up enough, but now like once you get like a decent amount of hearts and you can get like the ancient arrows and stuff, and then you realize like bomb arrows are actually like in my opinion one of the best arrows because you can just literally just keep launching, especially if you get what is it called? It is the bow and arrow that gives you 3 at once.
Oh yeah.
The Lionel bows give you like
The
5
Great Eagle
at
bow?
once or something. But yeah.
Yeah, it's 28 times 3. So like you use 1 bomb arrow and it just launches 3, and it's like this is the best ever.
I'm bad at the Guardians. I think I'd rather fight a Lionel.
Yeah.
I feel like with the Lionels, I got a pretty good like grasp on like using Urbosa's Fury to like that one. That helps a lot with the Lionels. I kind of like fighting Hinoxes.
They're my favorite. I was gonna say they're my
I don't know why, but
I love shooting their eye. I just get to like a high point and shoot their eye over and over again.
Over and over.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with the rock monsters that has like the little like
I love
crystal, like,
fighting
at the top.
those ones.
You just kind of like get up high and hide and then just keep launching arrows.
And I like the Octoroks that like breathe in and then shoot something out because you can like make them breathe in a bomb. So much fun.
It took me way too long to figure out that mechanic than I'm willing to admit.
I just found out that you can have them suck in rusty weapons and they'll like spit out like polished weapons.
What?
Did not know that. Yeah.
That's cool.
Did not know that either.
What other things are like, I don't know, like kind of like, what am I trying to say here?
The
Things like
secrets
that.
of the game.
The secrets of the game. I think my favorite is that like if Link is kneeling next to a chest when he tries to open it, he'll punch it and then like
I
kind of
didn't know that.
Yes.
I knew
I
he
have seen
kicks them.
That
But,
was the kick one, yeah. Like if he's not standing right in front of it, he'll kick it open. I've seen that.
Well, I think if he tries to kick it open without shoes, he'll hurt his foot too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That happens on like Eventide Island and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. This is not something they intentionally put into the game, but it is also not something they've removed from the game, which is whistle running. So
What is it?
It's a glitch basically where you can eternally run if you're whistling and tapping B. You don't run out of stamina.
That's cool.
That is exactly how
I'm gonna
stamina
try
works in the
that.
real world. If you're
Yeah.
whistling,
If you're
your breath
whistling, you
lasts
can run
longer.
farther.
It will call every monster in the vicinity. But if you don't stop running, it's not a problem.
Yeah. Whistling is like my toddler's favorite feature of the game. So I'll be like sitting there playing and he'll just be like hitting the button over and over, making like whistle. I love that you can cook bundles of wood and it's actually edible.
What?
It makes, if you cook a bundle of wood, it's called rock hard food, I think. It's like a quarter of a heart. It's pretty much the only time it's useful is in the Trial of the Sword levels where like you have limited food available to you. And so I
didn't know.
I knock down every tree. I cook the little bundles of wood when you get to the levels where you can cook. And then that's a quarter of a heart.
That's good to know. I'm at the middle of that right now. That's one of the quests I have not finished.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm getting all this insider knowledge.
Right? I'm gonna write my notepad, cook wood, and just hope I remember what it means.
I should have gotten a notepad to write things down. I have my Switch. As soon as we're done, I'm just gonna play it and like just try to beat it. Maybe.
I was kind of worried because I did start a replay maybe a few weeks ago in preparation for the new game to come out. It kind of went on pause while I beat The Last of Us, but now I'm back in it, and I was a little worried going from only playing like PlayStation games and then jumping back that it wouldn't have the shine that it had, that I would feel like it was less complex, or there would be all these things that are traditionally in PlayStation games that I would miss. But I haven't found that to be the case at all. Despite not growing up playing Zelda games, it still felt very nostalgic. And I keep finding things in Breath of the Wild that it's like, oh man, I wish I could find a PlayStation game that really utilized this component in addition to all of the things that they bring to the table, like the cooking. I've never played a PlayStation game where I enjoyed the transportation mode that they provide for you, but I love the horses in Breath of the Wild. All the cooking, like you said, does, and the house. I love getting the house and getting to decorate it a little. And with the DLC, you can get that little medallion, so you can place a
Yes, the travel medallion.
portal anywhere. And I put it in front of the house, and then the horse has a saddle. My main horse has a saddle, so I can call her anywhere. And so every time before I would quit the game, I would go home and call her there and put her in the stable and go back home. And I love it so much.
Yes. I know. I feel like Breath of the Wild just does such a good job at the open world elements, and like just like allowing you to explore and giving you a lot to find and a lot to do. Because yeah, I've played some other open world games. Like I just finished Horizon Zero Dawn. And there's things that I think that does better than Breath of the Wild, but I feel like, yeah, there's like nothing that quite has like the charm, I feel like, of like all the little things you can do in Breath of the Wild. Like you can go bowling.
Yeah. And like Witcher 3 has a house that you get that you can decorate and everything, but it's not the same level of power. I feel like it's also not as cute as it is in Zelda. And it's like, well, why do I want this gloomy mansion? I can't even plant things in my vineyard.
Yeah, I played Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and you have a house that you can kind of like do some repairs to, but you don't get to make a lot of choices. Wasn't quite the same.
I want even more of that in Breath of I could do with less of the memories and more of the house.
I was going to say the memories are one of my favorite things to do. I
No!
love going out and finding them.
I
loved
it.
seeing them. I didn't love finding them.
Yeah. That one on the castle nearly killed me. It was so hard.
Once
there's like a way you can climb up the back of the tower to get to it. That's not that I know, because I did it and I'm not that good. There's a way to get there that actually isn't
find
that bad.
it. I could not find
That's
it.
fair. Like I said,
running
like
in circles.
for me, I was like, this is gonna be more enjoyable if I just look up where to find them online and go find them, because I want to see them but not find them.
Yeah.
I love watching the memories.
Yeah. I enjoy the finding. I think it was like my third playthrough when I realized that you can ask the artist guy and he'll give you clues about where they are. I was like, what? I've just been running around Hyrule. Like, that looks like that mountain. Let me go over there.
Yeah. I did the same.
Like the hard one for me, even knowing where it was supposed to be, was the one on like Doom Mountain. Or is that what it's called?
That's
Death Mountain.
Yeah. I somehow like have just like stumbled onto that one on multiple playthroughs. Like I just happened to walk past it and I'm like, oh look. Like I'm not even looking for it. I don't understand how, because it's in a really out of the way.
Yeah, it's kind of like on the other side of the lava lakes as you're walking up to.
I don't know why I was over there, but I stumbled on it.
I mean, there's some great like rocks over there, like thereabouts, if you're looking for rocks.
All my gems.
Yeah.
That's how I make all my money.
Yeah. And the luminous stones down at the foot in like the Akala region. Akala?
Speaking of the stones, do you love or hate the blood moon?
I have made my peace with the blood moon.
I feel like on a personal level, I'm like, curse you, Blood Moon, but I also really appreciate the function it plays in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Mhm.
know, because it would
It's-
get boring if just like everything you killed it
Stayed
once and
dead.
it was
That's
gone.
true. I hated it
Yeah.
at first because I'm like, oh, the monsters are coming back, but then I realized so do some of the gems, like
Yeah.
all the mining
Mhm.
stuff that kind of like reappears too. So I'm like, okay, it's
Yeah.
not so bad. So like
Mhm.
I have like little stamps on my map around where like all like the good places to go to like smash the rocks to get the gemstones.
Nice.
So then when there was a blood
Nice.
moon, I could just start traveling around
Yeah.
That's
And I fe-
smart.
I feel like
collecting.
most games like this, like the monsters repopulate automatically, and I like that this game has like a reason for it.
Mhm.
Where like previous Zelda
Yeah.
games, it's just like you leave that portion of the map, you come back, and the monsters are back. So I like that
Mhm.
one, they stay away for a little while, and two, like it's actually explained why they keep coming back. There's that. Love an
I feel like it
explanation.
always happens at a
Yeah.
really inconvenient time for what I'm trying to
Always.
do. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this, and then I get the blood moon cutscene. I'm like, are you kidding me?
I still remember the very first blood moon I experienced. The first time I played the game, I had like gotten off the Great Plateau. I was like running around, and I found like it was like on my way to Kakariko Village, and there was this like ditch, and there were some bokoblins around like a fire. I killed them all, and then I was like, I'm gonna sit by this fire until the morning, and there was a blood moon. So I like wake up in the morning and I'm just surrounded by bokoblins.
This wasn't my first blood moon, but the one that I really remember getting to me was I was headed up following Sidon up to Zora City. And this was like the first, like, I hadn't found any of the divine beasts yet. Like I was still pretty early on in the game. And there's like that part on that path where there's a whole bunch of the goblins with the electricity arrows.
That was so
And
hard the first
I had a hard time. I had a hard time with it. I mean, I'm still like early on in the game. I don't have a lot of weapons. I don't know how to do anything skill wise. And I like just like played evade the like I just ran around and like picked them off one by one. I think I probably spent like an hour trying to just like get past that in my like tactical evade style. I also was having a hard time because I hadn't unlocked the map for that area, and I kept like I could not figure out where to go. I like anyway, I was having a time with it. And then of course like I got stuck and like fell off the map into the rivers. I don't know what I did, but I was like had to redo that part of it. And that's like exactly when the blood moon happened. And all of a sudden I was like, the electric guys are back. Why are they back?
No.
And a lot of electric arrows after that. So that was nice.
Yeah, I hated that part so much that in my second replay, I spent probably a solid extra half hour just trying to summit the mountain in the rain. And I did it, but at what cost?
See, it's funny because like I feel like I went back at some point, of course, and it was like, oh, this isn't hard now, which I guess is good.
Yeah.
But at the time, I was just like, I think that's the most mad I've ever been about a blood moon.
Kaylin had put a great question in our chat before this, which was, do you go for hearts or stamina first when you start getting your spirit orbs?
Stamina all the way.
Same.
Hearts. I want
I
that
go for
master
heart.
sword as quickly as I can get the master sword.
Mm.
I just dive. I'm really bad at video games, which is a shame because I love to play, but I just really like bad at playing games like this. So I always have to go for the hearts, or I'm gonna constantly be dying.
Yeah, I'll usually like do like a few hearts and then like a couple staminas because I do like want to be able to climb more and stuff. And then just a whole bunch of hearts until I can get the master sword.
Yeah, once I have enough stamina to like get to the top of a tower without too much trouble,
Yeah.
then I'm like, hearts.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Same.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. I prioritize like you the stamina until I have, a wheel and a half, maybe a little more. And then it's hearts and also trying to find all the climbing gear so that you can climb faster.
Climbing here. One of the most useful pieces of clothing.
Yes.
I really like the clothing in the game because
I was just gonna say
most of it serves a good purpose.
Yeah.
And I find myself actually using them instead of it just being
Yeah.
like, oh, that looks cute, let me put that on. Or I
Mhm.
like my character wearing this. It's like, oh, I'm about to climb this thing. Let me go put my gear on
Yeah.
first. So like I actually
Yeah.
utilize the clothing.
Yeah, because like I can actually notice a difference
Mhm.
Yeah.
in things where I feel like in some other games I put on like the specialty clothes for stuff and I'm like, is this making that big of a difference? Like I'm not noticing a difference in this where like Breath of the Wild, like I notice like I'm climbing faster or I'm stealthier or whatever, you know. I love
I
the
actually wish
stealth
more
outfit.
games would like look to Breath of the Wild for
Mhm.
inspiration, because you're right, there's not a whole lot of games where when you put the clothes on that you notice like, oh wow, this is a big difference. But
Mhm.
What's
Yeah.
everyone's go-to outfit?
Let's see.
I haven't played enough to have one.
I
You go ahead.
yeah, I really love the stealth outfit. But then I also just love like the classic like Hylian hood, Hylian tunic and pants, you know. But most of the time I'm just wearing Majora's Mask because I don't want monsters to notice me.
Yeah. In my game that I've finished, I'm almost always wearing, towards the end you can get Link's like classic green tunic.
Mhm.
So I'm wearing that, but I don't like the shorts that it comes with, so he's wearing some brown pants with them. And that's it. I love it.
Classic.
But I did also dye my stealth outfit pink. I do like that too.
I'm
love
dyeing
it.
all of my outfits pink.
I actually have not dyed a single piece of
So
clothing.
fun.
I keep
It's
forgetting
great.
that that's a thing, like shield surfing. I totally forget that it's like something in the game that you can do. I don't know.
Now
I like the Zora armor.
yeah.
Like I'm either
That one is
wearing
nice.
the champion's tunic, because I really like the blue and the fact that it gives you like the health
I like
of
being
the
able to
monsters.
see the monsters. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I also like I think it's the radiant.
That one's cool.
Yeah, the
Oh,
one that
yeah.
glows in the dark. That one's pretty dope.
Yeah. I do love wearing like a ridiculous outfit in a part of the game where there's going to be like cutscenes.
Yeah.
Always fun. But yeah, right now I'm fighting Ganon and like I have Link wearing like the Hylian hood and the Hylian trousers, but they're dyed pink with like the blue champion's tunic. So it's like baby blue and pink. It's very cute, like stylish.
I was just kind of dyeing things willy-nilly and got done having a heyday at the dye shop and then like put on my go-to outfit, which is like I like the champion's tunic, I like the Hylian hood, which I had dyed pink, and I had the like stilt pants on and I had dyed them purple. So I'm just like, I just turned him into a walking by pride flag on accident, but I love it. One thing I love about Link is that you could tell me he's like pretty much any kind of queer and I'd be like, that makes
Yeah,
sense to
that
me.
I
tracks.
believe it.
Mm.
Fully believe he was in a love triangle with Mifa and Rivali.
Love that. Yeah, you can make a case for like pretty much any identity. I'd be like, you know what, I can see
Yeah.
it.
Yes. I'm curious what your favorite what your favorite area of the map is. Also, what town you would want to live in.
Terrytown.
Terrytown. I was so waiting to bring up.
I
Terrytown.
have a portrait
Favorite
of
side quest by
Terrytown
far.
in my house.
Really?
I love Terrytown so much. I cannot believe that they don't have you build your house there.
That would make sense.
I want a house in Terrytown in real life and in Breath of the Wild life.
It's
I love-
definitely the area that has the biggest impression on me. Maybe it's because like you helped build it and like there's that whole like the side quest with it, but Terrytown's definitely my favorite.
And the weather is always nice there. Like even if it's
Yes.
raining when you're flying in,
Sunny.
it clears up when you land in Terrytown.
Mhm. Yeah, I love the Terrytown quest. Like I love finding all the people to live
Mhm.
there. But I think I would want to live in Kakariko Village, just classic. Like how it's
Mhm.
like
I
cozy
think that was
in
the
the mountains.
first village I went to.
Yes, the first place. Usually the first place you go to. Yeah, that's there.
I was like, I know that place. I've been to that one.
Mhm.
I'm I'm a big fan of Zora's Domain. I think it's pretty.
It is really
Yeah.
pretty.
I love the music in Zora's Domain.
Yeah. I do think also, I'm thinking, where do you actually build your house?
Hateno.
Hateno.
Athena. Yeah, that one's kind of cozy too.
Mhm.
I like want to say Rito Village because I think it's very cool aesthetically, but also I'm scared of heights, so that
I would be
actually
so
wouldn't work for
stressed
me.
out.
I have fallen off as Link, so like
You'd have calves for days climbing those stairs.
Yeah.
it's true.
I will say I don't love Death Mountain in a lot of ways because the air being on fire kind of stresses me out, even though I have the armor that will not catch me on fire. But I do love the hot springs. I know there are hot springs elsewhere in the game, but those ones are like really easily accessible from the tower. And there are a lot of gems I like. For some reason, I like going to the southern mines after there's been a blood moon, and there's like quite a few gem deposits there. And there's like the one in the cave that like you gotta make sure you don't fall in to the lava. And I usually do, even though I go there all the time. But for some reason, I like it makes me feel accomplished.
I'm really curious, like, how different will the map be in the sequel? Like, are all the towns still going to be where we expect them and the big changes are up above? Or are we gonna see some significant level of map changes? Because I feel like I'm familiar with the map. I love those towns. And so it's like, how much of a sequel is it?
Yeah, I'm really curious. I'm excited.
Well, especially because like you want it to like, I don't know, like so much of the first game is kind of about this exploring the wild, that to like make it feel like it's
Yeah.
like the first game, you're going to need that exploration element, but I don't necessarily want to lose the geography I already like.
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So I do think probably a lot of it will be like the sky that, I don't know.
I think it's really interesting that we've talked about this game for almost an hour, and it's like all been about the gameplay and nothing about the story.
I know, and the stories that I love.
Yeah, I think the story is great too.
Yeah. I think it's such a great story. I think actually like my one complaint about the game is that it is so light on story. Like I would like just like a little bit more. Which is like one of the things that like looking at other open world games, like I said, I just finished Horizon Zero Dawn, and like it's very open world. It has a lot of exploration, but there's a lot more like points along the main quest and along the main story. Where like Breath of the Wild, it's like you like get all the way to Impa, like you do that first like line of quests, and then it's just like go do the divine beast and then defeat Ganon.
Mhm.
Like that's the main quest. So
And
like
then-
I would like to have a
And you
little
like
bit
fill
more.
in the backstory.
Yeah.
As you
Right. And I
go,
think
but
memories too. Like I didn't love like the memories only because it's like I was like, hey, I'm in the mood to play right now. And then I would find a memory and like now I have to sit through it. But my brain was not in the moment to be like, okay, I need story now, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
So to kind of like filter it in to some of the actual like quests, I think may have been a little bit better.
Mhm.
I love the memories. And I think it's partially because just like from a storytelling standpoint, like I think it's very impressive that like you can watch the memories in any order and it still makes sense and you can follow it. I just also think it's kind of like a masterclass in like how to do a lot of character and story work in very short fragments. Like,
yeah.
you know, every single one of those memories, like there's a point to it, like you're getting something
And
story
Link
or
doesn't
character
have a
wise.
line of dialogue in it
I
and still says a
know.
lot.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
know.
And I just like I love the whole concept of the story, like the whole like 100 years ago, you like had this big like campaign and like you lost. And now like you've lost everything, all your friends are gone and your memories are gone, and you're like trying to go back and like defeat this old enemy. Like I think it's a really cool like story, and when you tie it into like this like post-apocalyptic world, like it's really cool. Like it's like one of my like plot bunnies that I'd love to tell a story like that of like a hero who lost, who's like now trying to go back and
Yeah.
fix their mistakes. Mhm.
I'm really curious too, with like leading into the sequel. Where is Zelda gonna go? Like,
Yeah.
what is she doing? because
Mhm.
since it's a sequel, I don't know how much you can get away with just being like, and then she fell in a hole, and now you have to go
Yeah.
find her again. She got a cool haircut, and now we're not going to see her until the end.
Yeah, I'm really curious because I know there's been a push for so long for like them to make Zelda a playable character at some point.
I don't want to get my hopes up because I don't think they'll let me play as her, but I
Yeah.
would love to play as her.
I would love if there would just be like portions of the game where you play as her,
Yeah.
you know. It doesn't have to be a like choose which one you're going to play as or anything like that. So there'd be parts that'd be really cool.
I will say I'm playing Gotham Knights right now, which has 4 characters you can play as. And I actually think they've done it very well. And one of the things I like about it is that it's like the clothes, like depending on who you're playing as, like you have different things that are easier or harder to do. So it's like if I'm gonna sneak into somewhere, I want to be this character who's really quiet and stealthy, or like if I have to fight a big guy, I want to be this guy with a lot of strength. So I feel like that could be another. I don't think they're going to do it, but
It would be cool. Maybe one day.
yeah. I mean, I do feel like for someone who's like not in the game, she's still
Oh yeah.
like not
Yeah.
for being a damsel in distress, she's
Yeah.
not that
And I
damsel in
think
distressy.
the
Mhm.
memories like played a huge part in that in this
For
game. Where like
sure.
previous games, it's like Link like meets her a couple times and then she's like captured, you know. Where like we really get to see like her character arc, which I think is
Yeah.
like a fantastic character arc that she has. I love it.
Yeah. In A Link to the Past, there's a princess. We gotta go get her.
Yeah. I think
Um,
Twilight Princess, you like meet her early on, and then like the rest of the game, you're like trying to rescue her.
yeah. Skyward Sword has like some really good backstory.
Yeah.
That one to me feels a lot like a YA novel. I get they're all
Yeah.
technically like YA,
But that
given
one
Link's
feels
age,
really YA.
but that one feels really YA.
Yeah.
in a
You can
fun
tell that one
way.
came out in like the early 2000s.
Yeah.
It feels like it. That was actually kind of one of my like maybe like kind of final questions is like if anybody else has played other Zelda games or if you think you will play other Zelda games. I'm really curious because this like I said, this is my first like real game that I played that wasn't like a group game, and it like sparked me. Like I've played like 3 other Zelda games now, I think, other than this one. Still Breath of the Wild's my favorite.
Yeah.
I'm definitely interested. So growing up, we were definitely a Sega family. I don't think we ever actually owned a Nintendo. Like we had friends that had them, but we were Sega and then PlayStation, and like Dreamcast and all of that stuff. So my husband grew up playing Zelda, and he said that he will not have respect for me or my daughter who played Breath of the Wild until we beat Majora's Mask. So that's probably going to be my next game
I
after
tried
Tears
that
of the
one. I
Kingdom.
don't like it. The gameplay is really rough at the beginning, in
I
my
think that's the
opinion.
one
And
he
I
has the
know a
most,
lot
like,
of people
nostalgia
love
with.
it. A lot of
Mhm.
people really love it. But
I think it's definitely one of the things where it's like, oh, I played that like in the heyday. So like that was the
Right.
game that's like officially like Zelda gatekeepy. So he's like,
Mhm.
you guys got to play that one.
Mhm.
So I think that's next. We have it on the DS. I just never actually played it.
yeah, you can do it on the Switch too if you have the
Mhm.
that like online membership. I've played a few, like Link's Awakening, Link to the Past, most of Skyward Sword. The gameplay on that also wasn't my favorite, and so I haven't been in a rush to finish it. It's hard playing games that were made for consoles much older than you ever played on. I also play, what was the one that was on the 64?
Oh, you played A Link to the Past, didn't you?
Yeah, that one might have been on the 64 as well. What's the one where you jump back? Ocarina of Time. That one on like the actual 64 and didn't beat it because the N64 controller was a nightmare. But I would love to go back and actually beat that one.
Yeah, I've played Twilight Princess, and which I enjoyed, but like I know that's one of those ones where like if it was like one of your like early Zelda games, you're like obsessed with it. And so for me, I was like, I don't quite get the hype. Like I enjoyed it. And I played Link's Awakening and I played Skyward Sword, which was out of the ones I played, it's like my second favorite Zelda game. I really enjoyed the story. I do think the controls are a little bit difficult, but I liked the story, and it was actually kind of fun to play something that was like, now do this, now do that. Like,
Yeah.
like just having directions along the way was kind of like nice sometimes. So I played those. I tried A Link to the Past, and like every time I hit a point that I like can't get past, and then like I finally got past it, and then I hit another point that I just couldn't get past, and I was like, this is just so
I
hard.
really like that one. I don't
Yeah.
know, it just spoke to me.
Yeah, I always end up like dying because I just cannot get past certain parts because I'm just so bad at it. But I also played the like Hyrule Warriors.
Oh yeah, me too. That
Age
one
of
was really
Calamity
fun.
game. It was fun. It's not technically enough like official Zelda game, but
You just get
it
like
was really cool.
hundreds of monsters coming at you at once.
And it ended up being a really cool story the way they made it
It
tie
really
into Breath
like
of the
there was a
Wild.
plot twist.
Yeah.
I gasped at, and yeah, it was really good. And it's
I
not
normally
like
am not a
100
big
normal monsters.
yeah.
You
I'm
want
not
to
normally a
KO.
big combat person, but I really enjoyed that. And you get to play as a bunch of different characters. That's
Yeah.
cool.
I liked Breath of the Wild enough that I was interested in other Zelda games and ended up getting Skyward Sword because I knew Emma liked it. I was interested in the story. I don't know if when you played that one, you played it like it was the Wii and you just like
No.
held the. It makes it better. I'm gonna be honest. I think it's better to like be
Really?
like all slashy. Yeah, I love that. That's my favorite part. There are a lot of other things about the gameplay that I'm like is an older. I don't
Yeah.
love like moving around or anything.
Just
But
the
I
up
think
and
it's real-
down, up and down, up and down was what I didn't love. Getting from the
Yeah.
above to the below.
Oh, really?
I found it a pain.
No, I think playing it with the Joy-Cons like their Wii remotes is the right way to play it. I'm not elitist about many things, but I think that's the right way to play
How
that
the creator intended it.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's just like I don't know, like maybe just because it like ignites this nostalgia of playing on the Wii for me. But I don't know, I just like slashing at things with my stupid remote. And I didn't get very far in that one before I got distracted. I play video games very, very slowly. I'm also interested in like more the story than the gameplay of Twilight Princess. But it's not on a console that I have access to. So like honestly, when I have 3 hours to do such a thing, or if I break it up, I'll probably just go like watch a video of the cutscenes at some point. But
yeah, I would love to see either that one or Wind Waker be like the next one to come to Switch. Because most of the main games you can access on Switch now, even if it's just like the virtual console. But those two you can't play in any way on Switch. So I want to play Wind Waker.
Oh, I also tried like Legend of Zelda 1 and 2, and they were so hard. They were so hard. I gave up after like an hour. I was like, this isn't fun. I don't want to do that. Yeah. Excited for the sequel though.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
The gameplay looks really cool.
And I really love that they have kept most of the plot a secret at this point. Like most of the reveals they've done have been of like the gameplay and not much about like what's actually going on. So I'm really excited.
I do like that it seems like a lot of the sounds are going to be the same too.
Yeah.
So I haven't actually played Breath of the Wild in like maybe 2-3 months. And my daughter pulled up the new gameplay of Tears of the Kingdom, and I heard the noises, and I was immediate, and I was like, "Oh wait, I know that sound." And when we watched it, it was like just the sounds alone of like them, like Link going into like a stable, and like hearing the noise change or like the music change, definitely triggered enough of the nostalgia of actually playing the game. That was like, okay, now I'm ready for the new game, whether or not I beat Breath of the Wild or not.
Do y'all watch Mythic Quest?
I watched a couple episodes.
I cannot stop thinking about Mythic Quest anytime I hear the title of the sequel game, because there's this huge like joke plot line in Mythic Quest where this like uppity old guy wrote a novel that won a Nebula Award or something, or a Hugo, and it's called, I have to look it up just to make sure I got it all right, but Tears of the Anaran. And everyone is like, is it Tears or Tears for like seasons? They're calling it Tears of it. And think of it every time. The Breath of the Wild sequel.
I remember, like, as soon as the title was announced, people were like, what if it's actually Tears? And then it was like all the other languages, it was Tears. And I was like, oh, okay. That solves it pretty quickly. Well, I had written down some questions, and there's only one thing we haven't talked about yet, so this can maybe be like a closing question for us, which is, what's your favorite NPC in the game? Like, who do you have a soft spot for?
I would say mine is Beetle. We refuse to sell our wares to anybody else. Like, I know I have to go other places to buy things, but if I have gems and I need to sell them, we will go to a stable and hunt him down.
You should know that Beetle is in Skyward Sword.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. And he looks like almost exactly the same in Skyward Sword. It's crazy. I think it's so hard to choose because there's so many great people. I love the guy, I don't remember his name now, but he's like the Daruk's descendant who's like just like scared of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Love our terrified hero.
I'm like looking at a list right now, trying to decide.
I do really love Sidon.
It's a classic for a reason.
I have a soft spot for Rivali too.
Mm-hmm.
What?
So
That doesn't
grumpy.
sound like you.
I just love a grumpy character.
I'm gonna go Bolson. I like him.
True. I like if you've ever gotten the kids in the village to do the Bolson dance.
Yeah. It's any of the people whose names end in son, actually. I love
They're
all
all
of them.
great.
Yeah.
I love that entire running joke. It's so good. All right. Well, we were talking for close to an hour, so
Nice.
yeah, this is very fun. Like we said at the beginning, it's something we've been meaning to do for forever. So glad we did.
Yeah, let us know what you think about the game.
If you play Breath of the Wild and have thoughts, please let us know what they are or what you're excited for in Tears of the Kingdom. And if you haven't played and you have access to a Switch, you should play. I think as like as a writer and someone who like consumes a lot of stories, like it definitely was like a very like inspirational thing for me.
I will say, if you haven't played and are still listening to this,
why?
thanks.
I'm glad
do you know our viewers, Kyra?
That's fair. No, it wasn't a condemnation. I was
There's like 10 of them.
But yeah, I do think it like has given me a lot of like just like making me want to tell stories more, I think.
Yeah. And I think just games in general, it can be kind of hard if you don't play a lot of video games, but you want an introduction into that world because there is such incredible storytelling going on in the gaming world. And I think Breath of the Wild is a really, really good one for if you like. It's a hard game sometimes, but it's also very good at easing you into everything.
There's a lot of like
very like, if you hit something that's too hard, you can go do something else. If you can't beat a divine beast, you can leave the divine beast and go do something else.
Yeah. And there's also just like so many workarounds for a lot of the fighting too, where like some games it's like you have to beat this monster, this enemy in this specific way, where like Breath of the Wild is like just stand on a hill and shoot him with a bunch of bomb arrows.
That's my favorite way to win.
Yes.
I love to just stand up there and throw bombs. Takes a long
I love
time,
when they
but
can't
it'll
see
kill
you
them.
do it too, so everything explodes and they're just like, and they like kind of then go back for a second. They're like, okay.
I was about to say, if you time it right and you go it down and they see it, like they'll go to the bomb and then you explode it. It's like one of our favorite parts, just to kind of like chill and then just like let them go.
Yeah. I've been getting recommended on TikTok a lot of like lives of people streaming themselves playing Breath of the Wild for the first time because TikTok knows my interests before I even tell it my interests. And I was watching this guy who was playing it through for the first time, and he was playing Master Koga, I think is his name. And like every single time I've played that, the thing to do is you just use your magnet power and drop it on his head. And he was, instead of doing that, he was shooting him when the ball was right over his head. So he lost concentration and it would fall down. And it was just like, oh, like I'd never even considered that that would be a way. And that's so fun and cool that there's multiple ways to success.
Mhm.
I like on some of the ones where you're like shrines where you're supposed to connect electrical wires instead of like moving things the right way just to get all of my metal weapons out and make a little chain. Like, I know this is not right, and yet.
And yet,
I love the shrines because most of them have like so many ways you can
Mhm.
you can complete them. I think most people's least favorite type of shrine, and my least favorite type of shrine, is the like test of strength,
Yeah.
because they just are really tedious. But like learned recently that like if you like get out the electric like sword, the thunderblade or whatever, and you like swing it and like drop it like right at the right time, it like creates like this like electric line. I think you like put it in between two metal weapons or something like that. So it like creates this like line of electricity, and the guardian will just run into it over and over again. And you just stand there and wait for it to like
All of
die
the
from just
people who
running
figure
into it.
these things out.
Right.
Right. They're heroes.
Yes.
yeah, I have fairly limited patience for puzzles in games. I don't want a game that has no puzzles because I do like some puzzles.
Yeah.
So I liked having the test of strength to break up every now and then, like, oh, phew, I don't have to use my brain on this one.
See, and
Not
that's
gonna
another
lie.
nice one though, where it's like there's so many shrines that if there's a shrine you just don't want to do, I mean, if you want to get all the shrines, you got to do all the shrines. But like for me, it was the like 5 flames one that I like.
Oh,
I didn't like that one. I think it's probably not actually that hard, but I just like I wasn't
sometimes
feeling
you hit
so I
it and
just
it's
didn't.
like, no, I'm not doing
Nope.
this right now.
Yep.
Orange mark, I can come back to it later. But
Yeah.
now it's a travel part, so I can definitely fast travel there if I need to.
Yeah.
I'll complete it later.
We're like in the mood to do shrines.
Exactly.
Because sometimes that's what I'm in the mood for. Sometimes I'm like, I don't want to run around and do stuff. I just want to go shrine to shrine. And so I love when I have a bunch that I've like activated but haven't completed, and I can just like go do a bunch of them in a row.
Yeah. And I feel like we've only brushed the surface really of the game.
Right.
Like there's so much more we could talk about, but
Mhm.
we'd need a lot more than an hour.
Yeah.
Perhaps 350 hours.
Perfect. We will schedule that.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. What could go wrong?
Yeah, definitely we'll be able to stay awake for all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this was very fun. Thank you to whoever is still watching at this point. We're glad you're here. So yeah, we will see y'all the week after this goes up, for an actual live chat, whatever is scheduled for the week after this one. We'll be here, and thanks for watching. Bye.